I was never supposed to make it. Never. You can't hide a black sheep in sunlight. My skin now tough as leather. My sights from 2020 just gotta put two together, but my foresight is like a hawk, so my 22 vision better. I thank God for my BM. We had 2 kids together. Those 2 kids saved my life. I'm indebted to them forever. If someone put hands on them, I'll put 2 twos together. That's 2-to-1 odds against you. Let's play a game of ratios and division, nigga. Call me North Korea, cause I see BMs and get them. I'm blowing my jeans on them. That's keeping part of me with them. Every time I'm in their city, they find themselves in my DM. They begging, I come and DM. They niggas need better defense. And this was never a pretense. With bitches, I never pretend. I cut and shine diamonds weekly and cut them off by the weekend. While single, I used to see them and use this magnum to free them by blowing their brains out just to leave them without a reason. MIC.
Point 25.
Yeah.
Point 25.
Blood alcohol level is
Point 25.
You know that's the DUI. Blood alcohol level is
Point 25.
She still let me drive, yeah. I remember one night DUIing with the baddest one. She let me drive, we both faded. My BAC level
Point 25.
I must have had a moment cause I closed both my eyes.
My name is Mic Bminor. I'm from Los Angeles, California, born and raised. Grew up in Carson, California, and I've been all over LA. I've been writing since I was 11 years old. I really started writing a little bit earlier than that, but I started writing my own music at 11 years old. I was trash at it, you feel me? It was something I had to learn how to do. I could write songs, I could write actual singer songs and everything. I was writing plays and stuff like that. I can encapsulate a whole bunch of different concepts, but I couldn't actually write a good rap. And I got into music when I was 3 years old. I started playing the drums. My dad was a studio musician, a really accomplished studio musician, and he was also a composer. So he did a lot of compositions for different plays that were later seen on like Broadway and whatnot. So that's pretty much how I grew a love for music, was because of my father. Man, MIC is something that I think we've adopted as of recently, is the ASAP mob of the West Coast. They all have their own style, but then they all can come together like to rap with each other, do songs with each other. They're often featured amongst each other's projects. And it's like a steel sharpened steel type of situation. So that's the best way to explain, MIC, honestly. It's a steel sharpened steel. Everybody has their own extremes and everybody does their own things. You have the lyricist of the group, which is like, Ceaseless, Tombstone Chuck, and LeVay Cole. They're like straight lyricists. Tombstone Chuck and Ceaseless are the most lyrical out of everybody. LeVay, he knows how to he's more like he can get very lyrical, but he's very hit minded. Your Excellence, he's another hit maker. He likes a lot of bouncy stuff. And then you have Jimmy Watts, who's like very melodic. And I learn from everybody. Everybody really learns from each other. I know I definitely spend a lot of time just analyzing the people I'm around, and I learn a lot of different things from them. And it's just like I said, still sharp and still, that's really what the best way to explain MIC and the different characters in it. Life does. Everything in life, everything. I don't even want to get specific because I feel like I'll leave stuff out. Anything that I see could potentially become something influential, whether maybe seeing how somebody creates music, how somebody just walks, how they act in certain areas and, around certain people and stuff like that. I mean, everything influences me when it comes to music. It's just a matter of seeing how I can apply these things I'm seeing, these lessons I'm learning to my life, and then how can I bring them out for my listeners. And honestly, my biggest listener is me. I listen to my stuff a lot of times, especially when I'm going through hard times. I listen to my music to see if I'm going through something I've already been through or something I've already talked about. Just, to see if I'm like naturally progressing in life. So that's really just What I do. When I released Free, my first mixtape, I was trying to just prove that I could stand up to whatever was thrown at me. I could bar up if I needed to. I could make a hit. And I could just be the best at what I do. I could freestyle. I can do all that. Then I learned that, you know, there's no real way to tell who's the best because everybody's good at their own thing and everybody has their niche and everybody's going to have their moment. So I stopped trying to be the best and I tried to be the best me and understand my style the most. That was very hard. So when I released my next mixtape before I was just trying to master sonic soundscapes, you know, trying to get like sonic consistency amongst my music and find out what's my niche, where do I live, you know, where can I stretch to, but where do I fit, you know, where does my voice fit, what words can I say well, what music do I flow over, what tempos are my go-to tempos, what are my go-to keys, and if I'm trying to put melodies together, what do I talk about, what subject, you know, matter do I have that I excel in. Mind you, you know, I've had, you know, my first 3-4 albums recorded and sitting there. Like, of course, I add more to these bodies of work and everything, and I polish them, I change a lot as I'm actually piecing these things together. But I've already envisioned almost half of my musical career. Like, I've been working backwards. I already knew where I wanted to go. I already knew what I wanted to do. So I've tried to get there in my mind and then backtrack it so that the listeners can hear it. So I've progressed because as you backtrack, you learn stuff that you missed because you skip past so much stuff. And then trying to level it out, balance it out is always like what you hear so much in my music. So I progressed and I feel like now I'm becoming way more in tune with where I'm trying to go musically and in life. I try my best to champion my relationships, and the select few that's still in MIC right now, man, you know, I've gotten to know each individual more to a degree that, you know, you only get with long-lasting friendships. And MIC's like, we've gotten so close that we're so much of a family now. We're no longer just like a bunch of artists trying to like just blow up. You know, we're a movement, we're a brand, we're a way of life. And, you know, shout out to all the MIC artists, you know, all the MIC supporters, all the people who work for MIC, who are working with MIC. Fuck with your boys. And if we get one, a female. Shots fired, motherfucker. And Caesars threw up during my fucking interview.
Oh man, I feel terrible.
He's a bitch. Mark ass bitch.
No, I'm not.